Honestly, Booking.com, you are the worst online travel agency on the website.
Known to man, ever built, ever
built.
constructed.
And it's just such a shame.
How do you get Booking.com's number? They don't want to be found. Customer service don't want to be found.
And the thing is, you get a number now.
Yeah, that same number.
In 3 months'
That's
time,
no longer
it's
the
dead.
number.
You have to now hit shuffle and get another number.
Yeah.
We personally have a minimum booking age of 21. Tell me why 17-year-olds were still allowed to book.
Yeah.
Then we told Booking.com that these lot have been able to book. How have they slipped through your net? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And they were just chatting so much rubbish.
Welcome to the Property Project podcast, where we talk all things property, but also help you to resolve some of the dilemmas that you come up with.
But before you do that, we'd love if you could help us by liking the video, subscribing to our channel so you could get more content from us. I'm finding it hard to work with my joint venture partner. We met through a networking, and at first we seemed so alike in morals and goals. Later down the line, they were doing shady things that I don't agree with. One example is that he was saying that he wouldn't give me money to invest in a deal unless I take 100% of the responsibility and risk if it fails. That's crazy. I don't know what to do as I need the funds to get started, which is what he brings. What do I do?
Leave his ass in the dump. I just think, do you know what? I feel like when these dilemmas come about, it just touches a nerve. It's still tender. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know why you want us to talk about this, because we're only going to give you the dark side, really, which is, if you've already got a gut feeling, you shouldn't go with it. We've had too many times where we have worked with, not too many, there's one that stands out the most, and it didn't go well with a JV partner. And yeah, it was little things that we were seeing, and we were actually the opposite way. So obviously you seem to be in a position where the other person is bringing the money in for you. We were bringing in the money and somebody else was putting in the time. And I'm saying something, the time that they were bringing didn't exist. The time remained on 0 minutes. It never went above that. At times it went below that. But I would say that if you know that your joint venture partner that you're about to be in business with, you cannot trust. You cannot be in business with someone you don't trust. And that's just factual. No matter what they're bringing to the table, I don't care if they're bringing £1 million, because if you don't trust them, that £1 million could end you both in jail, because you don't know what that person's up to, or you don't know what they're doing, or you don't know what dodgy deals they're doing in the background, because you can't trust your business partner. So I would be saying to you, for me, it's pretty simple, which is, if you are in a space where you don't trust the joint venture partner's intent or their morals or how they conduct themselves in business, then you shouldn't be working with them. Your joint venture partner is basically someone that you also would be okay lying in bed with. Facts.
Do you know? Yeah.
If you don't trust them like that.
If as they say, actually, I don't know. Can we swear? I don't know if that
mum
affects.
is watching.
Yeah, no, of course, Mum, I don't swear, of course, but I just wanted to know what happens. But no, just when things go wrong in it, like you know that being in, as you said, in bed with that person, you know that you guys are gonna come out the other side and still be intact. You know what I mean? I was actually just reminiscing about one that we had.
It's so sad,
and
I'll never get over that.
And
one.
This is it, because I don't know what it is with these dilemmas here, but like, you know, when
it hits us,
they all happen in various shapes of I feel like loads of people go through these dilemmas, all the same dilemmas, but they just come in various shapes or forms. But like, even with the JV partnership that we had, it's like I really vibed with the person. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like, you know what, aside from property, you're someone that I could vibe with, like, outside of that. And even when we were setting up a property together, like, we had, like, obviously we went up until like 2 in the morning, just painting, and you know, you're just chatting and getting to know the person and everything like that. And to know that we were like that, and then, and it's a short space of time, but we were like that, and then now it all just took one thing to just blow that all up.
It took a number of things. I think but I
think one thing piled into
No, you're right. You're right. I just think that not that we ignore red flags, but I think especially with you're someone who gives people the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually the complete opposite. And if I don't like you, I don't like you for life. And it's probably just not going to work out between us.
Regardless.
Unless Sean has taken me to the side and had a word with me and been like, come on, let's try. And then I might just consider. But aside from that, if it was me by myself and my strong-willed head, then I would just be like, I don't really want to speak to you because I don't trust what you've got going on. And I think it was sad because, yeah, again, you had made a really good connection with this person, but unfortunately they came as a two. Not unfortunately. They just came as a two, which meant, unfortunately for you guys, it impacted you. And you also saw the person's true colours at the end of this. It wasn't just one person. I think we felt that it was one person out of the team that was causing most of the issues. But when you kind of look back in hindsight, there are red flags on both sides.
Yeah.
So my thing is just that if you're not getting along with your joint venture partner, it's probably best that you
leave it alone.
Cut your losses right now. They're not going to be the only person that you meet who can bring money to the table for you. They're also not going to be the only person to make your business successful. So don't worry about whether or not this is going to happen again for you, because it will. You found it once, you'll find it again. But next time you find it, it will be a partnership that suits you better rather than one that you're just sticking to because you want to make ends meet. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
100%. Like, I think if you are getting desperate and almost begging for deals, you will get something that fits that criteria. Like a desperate deal will find you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you are wanting to get into this deal with the JV partner because you think that's your only opportunity to get a deal, then, you know, you have to evaluate whether you're getting into that deal for the right reasons. Most of the time all the time it's about the figures. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of everything else, it's about the figures. Do the figures make sense? If that's the case, there's going to be other deals that make sense and come about. Do you know what I mean? But you can't be so desperate that you're willing to get into bed with someone who you don't actually trust.
I love the saying, just on a side note, to wrap this bit up as well, is like, I love that saying that you can't be with a business partner who cheats on their wife or speaks a certain way about their wife, and vice versa. You can't be with a businesswoman who cheats on her man and talks crap about them or him, her, whatever. I agree with that motto so much. And the reason is because if you can do that to somebody in your household, you can do that in business.
Like, 100%.
The person
100%.
that you don't know. So yeah, I like that saying, and I think stick with that when you make your decision. Have that saying in your head, and know that if this person can do things to other people, they're doing this to you who they don't know. Imagine what they could do to other people that you come into contact with within your business. You know, even if they've built a little bit of a relationship with you or established some sort of friendship or whatever. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. We've definitely been through it. You're not alone. Just get therapy. Get therapy.
But yeah, moving on, we're going to talk about your best friend in the whole wide world, which is Booking.com. So
you just said a curse word. You just said a curse word.
Booking.com, you are the worst.
Dear Booking.com.
Yeah.
Dear Booking.com.
You know them. Have you seen that thing where one of them kids is writing a letter to was it Boondocks? Where the guys write Riley's writing a letter to Santa. Honestly, Booking.com, you are the worst online travel agency on the website.
Known to man, ever built, ever built.
Like, and it's just such a shame. Fair enough. Props to you. You've built yourself to a point where you bring in a lot of money, right? You are worldwide and whatever.
We can't knock the hustle. We can't knock the hustle.
However, what we can knock is customer service, how you treat us as hosts, how you resolve situations. Just there's so many things where your platform is
dusty
dead
and old.
Like, honestly,
change it. Airbnb are wiping the floor with you. Change it. We don't want to see that.
Even ugly stuff such as, again, this is just me because like sometimes I like to look at like tech stuff, but if you go through our listing on, or if I'm going on like the extranet for Booking.com where I can control all the listings and stuff like that, from our first listing to our last listing, they've all got different options now because they've been updating it time by time. we've got options on the last list, the latest listing that we've got up that we don't have on the first listing. And it's like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Airbnb, when they update their thing, they update the whole thing. So it's just a case of, all right, whatever I did on this listing, I have to move that onto the next listing. But with Airbnb, with Booking.com, there's so many things that they just have wrong with them.
Yeah, I actually have a traitor in my household who's worked for them.
Oh yeah, but
we need to have words. I'm actually planning to kidnap her if she's watching this. Run for your life.
Wow.
But yeah, one of my family members used to work for them.
Yeah.
And can't even give me the inside tricks.
Like that.
What that was for them.
Like that. Maybe they got in a chokehold.
She left, so.
Yeah. Well.
Says
maybe it's one of them ones where we'll let you leave.
Yeah.
And we won't find you.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, I feel like Booking.com and Airbnb are very, very different platforms, although they do very, very similar things, pretty much the same thing. And I think the first bit to kind of speak about is the commissions, because I think although we have our personalized view on Booking.com, I think it's a little bit unfair for us to only give you that perspective, because there are not so many people, I'm really dragging it. There are people out there who may prefer Booking.com for various reasons. So let's talk about the commissions. What does Booking.com offer versus Airbnb, or are they similar?
So with the commissions, Booking.com, they claim 15%. So they put out 15%.
It's more than that.
But what they do is, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but you got the 15%, which they take as commission. You've then got a bank charge, which has gone from 1.6 to 1.9, maybe, I think. Yeah. So that's another bit. And then on top of that, you also have VAT, which they add. So all in all, it probably works out to be 18 to 20% commission that they take in total, right? If you're running straight through Airbnb, you have like 3% commission, but then obviously you share the rest of that commission with the guest who's booking. But then, or if you're you can go for the 15% where you just take the whole commission. And to be honest, I think that's the better way, because then you're giving more appealing prices. And sometimes I think if you're using a channel manager as well, they automatically just put you to the 15% anyway. The 15% is obviously 15% plus VAT as well. Yeah. But there's so many things where, I don't know, I think it's just the way that they lay it out and they treat us that, what, you actually deserve. Yeah. That 15% plus VAT. Yeah. Booking.com, they do not deserve it. No. They do not deserve it. We just came back from last night. We got back home at midnight because we had to deal with a situation. Yeah, Booking.com. With a Booking.com guest. Yeah. I think, that the commissions are probably actually pretty similar, but the way in which each of them deal with the issues makes you notice Booking.com more not deserving of the commissions that they charge. It's like service charge. Like, when you go to a restaurant and someone's asking for service charge, but they've been catering to you, they know your name, they've been speaking to you, like banter and stuff like that. As opposed to somebody who's like, what do you want? Oh, you want what? If that is here, take that. Do you know what I mean? Slamming your plate down. To the point where the checking your food the baby potatoes are hopped out the out the plate. That's Booking.com is that version. Airbnb was the first. Yeah. Also, I think another thing that they both provide is, debatable, is customer service. Yeah. Now, I can definitely speak on this because I think that this is my area of expertise. And I think that, again, the way in which they differentiate for this is that Airbnb, they understand in order for them to operate, they need hosts. Yeah. And if the hosts aren't happy or don't feel like they're being fairly treated, they know that could cause issues because they're not necessarily the number one platform. Booking.com is. So I think because of that, they're very rational. They even have, you just know what they're going to respond. Their policies are very clear. Where to even locate them. Booking.com, do you know how many people have come to me and said to me, how do you get Booking.com's number? They don't want to be found. Because customer service don't want to be found. And the thing is, you get a number now. Yeah, that same number. In 3 months' time, it's dead. Number. You have to now hit shuffle and get another number. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And somehow these numbers keep getting generated and put elsewhere and whatever. But it's just, they're so dodgy. Like they used to have a UK head office. Yeah, And
I'm sure that's why.
Do you know what I mean? And now they removed the head office and moved it to the Amsterdam one.
Yeah.
And I think that's for tax reasons. Because one issue that we have is that when business guests stay and they ask for a VAT invoice, right? Some companies aren't going to be VAT registered. That's fine. But Booking.com always pushed the booker to go to the host and ask for the VAT invoice. And it doesn't make sense because
they book through you.
And Booking.com
the money
is the one
goes
who slapped.
Through you.
Yeah.
You've slapped
Booking.com is the one who slapped the VAT on.
Yeah.
So why would you slap your VAT on and tell someone else to provide a receipt for that?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, literally.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that's something that you
dodgy.
always have to, when you get asked that, you just have to stay like firm with the guest and be like, listen, you have to go to Booking.com. They're going to tell you to come to me, but I cannot provide this because they're the ones who facilitated the payment.
Yeah. Kind of back to the customer service point.
So,
I think, no, it's calm. I think that as well, apart from, I think Airbnb are obviously easier to find in terms of their customer service, but also their policies and procedures are very clear. So you know exactly what you're working with. They have a policy for if something unsafe happens in your property. They have a policy for complaints. They have a policy for assessing reviews. They just have so many different policies. That's why you can't be mad at them. Even if you're trying to like usher direct bookings through their platform, you can't be mad at them when they flag it up because they've actually been doing their job. They've actually been good at their job. They're very responsive. If you're a super host, you get response in 24 hours. If you're not a super host, you still get a good, decent, like you're not waiting endless amounts of time, maybe like a day or something. But you know, with Superhost, you probably get like 1 or 2 hours. It's really not far. It's
not that deep.
Deep. So yeah, their customer service for me is also better in that way. Another thing with Booking.com is they don't do anything.
No.
You call them and you'll be like, literally, the guest is screaming in my face right now. They'll say, "Oh, this is how they respond. I'm so sorry to hear that. I really think that we can't do anything right now, but if they murder you, let us know." Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, if they murder me, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
I'll let you know. That's what pisses us off.
It's literally, I'm not, okay, obviously that's an exaggeration, but that's what I translate it to be because it's pretty much anything that you ask them, they'll be like, sorry, we don't do that. Sorry, I can't intervene. Yeah. Or like, you'll literally be like, the guest has damaged stuff in my property. I will tell them right now they are having a party, which is against my house rules. They'll be like, I'm so sorry. Like, we're not able to kick them out because they've got Booking.com rights. So sorry.
Yeah.
And it just gets boring. So they're also terrible with that, just intervening and creating an even playing field for both sides. For example, a quick story, we've literally just had to get rid of guests that were in our property. My girl is sending me threats, literally telling me if I don't send her money back, look what's going to happen. Mate, you didn't follow the rules. You was told about the rules, you signed the rules, and you chose to go the opposite. And you know that we know what you're doing in there. And that's okay if you want to be an escort. That's not a problem. I don't have that problem. The issue is that you're having numerous people attend the address and people upstairs are going to complain. So you can do what you're doing. You can get paid how you want to get paid, but you just can't do it in my property. That's all.
But it wasn't just that though. It was the lying about the
fake ID.
Plumbing issue. It was uploading fake IDs, fake addresses.
Yeah, and that even swearing at me, shouting, sending loads of messages, harassing.
All of that, So then that even then goes on to another thing that Booking.com is terrible with is, again, you have the option.
Safety,
You have the option to, make guests obviously have to put in their address and is it phone number? Their address and phone number when they book. But there's no provisions for it. With Airbnb, it's like they verify these things with the guests. With Booking.com, it's like we've had someone put in a fake number. Had someone put in a number that is 10 digits and it didn't make any sense, right? And then we've had someone who, we personally have a minimum booking age of 21. Tell me why 17-year-olds were still allowed to book. Yeah. Then we told Booking.com that these lot have been able to book. How have they slipped through your net? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And they were just chatting so much rubbish. And another time where they had the person uploaded the fake number, and we finally got hold of them of their real number, and we said to them, listen, this is the number that we can contact them on. Can we pass that on to you for you to then contact them and let them know that we need them removed or whatever? Oh, I'm so sorry, we can only contact them through the number they provided through the platform. I said, yep. Cool. Yeah. I didn't even say buy, just delete.
So just kind of comparing them basically. So Sean's just gone to another point. Mm-hmm. So basically the first thing was that when they are asked to intervene, they don't intervene, but Airbnb are really good with that. Airbnb will contact you, will provide you updates, will give you information on it. Then Sean's also saying that the next element of that between Airbnb and Booking.com is that when you then give them further things to like follow up on or kind of track down or things that are their bare minimum, so they say like having ID and stuff, they don't hold themselves accountable when those things aren't uploaded correctly or when that information isn't the right information. I've had, like Sean said, people who have uploaded things about their address and the address doesn't even exist, or telephone numbers that are like 10 digits or whatever. It's just a waste of time for everybody. So it's like, why would you not follow up? And then they always just say, oh, sorry, we can't do anything about it. Whereas Airbnb, again, they will tell you when they've booked, like, this person, we're awaiting their ID, and they will cancel the booking if that person hasn't provided the right ID. So it's things like that where Airbnb really do feel like they don't want to get sued. You can tell they don't want to get sued. They're like, your safety is our business. And if somebody attends your property, causes a scene, and someone gets seriously hurt, they know who's going to be called upon first. And they don't want to be that person. So every time we've kind of experienced them, they've been very, very... I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's not always worked in our favour. They've not always agreed with us or...
Airbnb.
Or taken down reviews or whatever. But we know that it's a balanced view because of how many times they've really collected all the information, and they're very information based, like evidence based, should I say. If you have evidence, I can't challenge you. If you don't have evidence, it's really difficult for me to say X, Y, and Z. They will tell you what they need from you in order to escalate things. Whereas Booking.com is kind of like, you've got the evidence. I could show you right now that someone is smoking crack in this building. I could get them to admit that they're smoking crack in this building, and they would still say, it's really hard to know if that's actually Joseph or not. Joseph has said he's Joseph. Like, what more do you want to hear? Do you know what I mean? So I think that's also where they're very, very different. One thing that I do think Booking.com are better at, though, my view is slightly starting to change, is how many bookings that you can get from Booking.com, especially over the winter periods. We tend to rely on Booking.com for the winter periods, outside of our own direct bookings, of course. But they do actually bring a lot of the larger bookings. So Airbnb are quite good to fill the space in terms of your calendar, but Booking.com tends to be, like business guests that you can reuse. They tend to be the guests that you're probably going to have booking quite frequently with you, whereas Airbnb can tend to be a lot of families. It's still businesses as well. You have a mix,
but it depends though, because again with Booking.com they're the ones who rates are most of the time they're looking for hotels to stay in. And then they end up coming across. Like, serviced apartments or holiday homes haven't always been on Booking.com. It was mainly hotels, and then they found an avenue and added that into it. Right? Whereas Airbnb has always been people's homes and people's flats and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So, again, like, that's why Booking.com is so big, because you don't need to spend millions on marketing or advertisement. They've done that already. And that's why a lot of people use their platform, because you've done it already. I just need to put my platform on there and it's being pushed out to all these people. Whereas Airbnb is like, they understand, the models are different. As you said, they understand that if a host is not being treated fairly and they take their listing off their platform, they're not going to go, like, their business is not going to grow. Do you know what I mean? And if that's happening to one, that's likely that it's happening to a large number of people.
Maybe in that area or from that company.
Do you know what I mean?
I think Booking.com have more advantage in terms of awareness. People are aware of Booking.com. It's the longest standing platform, I believe, as well. So, it does have that advantage. I think a final pro for Booking.com, if we just have to give them an extra point.
Because
I have to give them.
I'm wondering what you're going to say though, because
is the fact that they don't have, which works as an advantage for us, but not necessarily the government. They're not tight on the 90-day rule, so it means that you can operate freely. Pretty much, they can come and argue with me and tell me in what clause, blah blah blah. They probably do have it written somewhere, but they're not chasing you. Whereas Airbnb will, like, you have to go through hoops to list your property if it's under like a 90-day rule or some sort of restriction.
There is also a way to get around it.
There is, but they're much more.
Airbnb as well.
I mean, we just not just found it out, but we've kind of just started to use that. But Booking.com, there's really nothing to regulate that at all. They can come and say, we put it in here and it's your responsibility, but there's nothing to regulate it at all. You could have your your London property on their platform for as many days as you want without any issues. They won't send you alerts. They won't send you emails. They won't send you anything that would alert you to the fact that you should only be hosting for 90 days. Whereas Airbnb will send you an email to let you know you're nearly close to your 90 days. They may block your calendar. You may have to do duplicate listings. You may be able to override it a specific way. But again, they put a lot of obstacles in place to kind of say, well, once you've gone out of your way after all these reminders that we've put in place for you, then it's on you. Yeah. And we can't be to blame in any shape or form. So I think overall, obviously I'm an Airbnb lover. I guess I don't have to ask you.
I mean, I've had a love-hate relationship with Booking.com. I like the bookings that they bring.
I think love is strong.
Like hate.
Tolerate hate.
Yeah. But then I think it's just the service on the back end of it, where I just feel like
you're not safe.
You're not safe. You're not safe. I remember having conversations with them saying, "There's people in the property having a party. Can I cancel the booking? Yeah. Can I cancel the booking?" And they're like, "Okay, you can cancel the booking, but fees apply." Yeah. And then when you play it back to them, they actually repeat what they said. They know that they sound silly,
and they'll be like,
but they will uphold it. They were like, if it was up to me, and like, it is up to you. It is up to you and the rest of your colleagues.
And they have no management. Airbnb, you'll be like, can you escalate this, please? Like, I'm unhappy. Maybe you're not getting to a manager, but there's some sort of specialized person. Even if they're lying to us, that's what they tell us. Like, oh, we're going to send you to this specialist team. Someone from there will be able to deal with it. But then with Booking.com, it's like, we have no manager. Who the hell?
So you lot are just all operating. Who
the heck manages you lot? Who holds you accountable? Who knows if you turn up to work in the morning? Who knows what time you leave? Who signs off your timesheets? I have so many questions. Who teaches you? Who taught you how to pick up the phone and say this nonsense in my ear? Let me know. And it's like, they're just untouchable. Like, even if I tag them, they don't give a damn. I could write as many things as I want on social media and they don't care. We could rant all day about Booking.com. Airbnb, like, we'd love to work with you, to be honest. Like, there's so many things that people don't know about Airbnb and how to use it. But it's actually, honestly, just such a great platform. Whereas Booking.com, you can keep that. And I wish you the best. But yeah.
I ain't got nothing else to say.
No, nothing else to say. I think just, if you're using both the platforms, use them to your advantage. And make sure, especially with Booking.com guests, that you have your own measures in place to ensure that your property is kept safe and to ensure that you are benefiting as much as you can. And also, unpopular opinion, and probably Booking.com is going to comment in the comments below if they care about us enough. They will say, obviously not to do this, but I would say any bookings that come through Booking.com, save yourself by converting it into a direct booking. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
There we go.
Let's go. Thank you for watching to the end, guys. We really appreciate it. As a little thank you gift to you, we'd like to give you an invite to join our free WhatsApp community where we drop a lot of gems.
If you're still watching, then thank you so much. But more importantly, if you could like and subscribe to this channel to help us bring you more content that we know you'll just love.